Good morning, Mizzou fans. Gabe DeArmond here with PM in the AM. Just 10 days from the season opener, Mizzou versus Central Arkansas. Not quite game week, but we are getting there. What are we going to talk about this morning? Look, what are we going to talk about every morning for the next 4 months? Not really, but we're talking first year starting quarterback for Missouri. We don't yet know who it is. But regardless of who wins this competition, Beau Pribula or Sam Horn, it's going to be a first-year starter for the Missouri Tigers. So I went back. I've basically covered this program since the start of the century. 2003 was my first year. But, we're talking now 23 years of context for the conversation we are going to have. So what can you reasonably expect out of a first-year starting quarterback? We enter this saying we understand too much credit, too much blame goes on the quarterback. Quarterback wins isn't really a stat, but it's kind of a stat, and the quarterback has such an outsized importance that, a lot of the team's success does depend on that position. So there have been 6 guys that really were multiple-year starters for Missouri since the year 2000. We're starting with Brad Smith. His first year as a starter, 2002, amazing individual season, 5-7 as a team. Chase Daniel, first year as a full-time starter, 2006, team went 8-5. Blaine Gabbert takes over for Daniel, 2009, his first year as a starter, team goes 8-5. James Franklin takes over for Gabbert in 2011, first year as a starter, team goes 8-5. Drew Lock had started a little bit in 2015. I think he started the last 7 games, but 2016, the first year, he started every game, 4-8, Missouri. Brady Cook, first year starter in 2022, team goes 6-7. So you add all that up, that's an average of 6.5 wins a year. There were 2 teams that missed a bowl game, 3 that had losing records. None were better than 8-5. So I'm not telling you the ceiling for Beau Pribula or Sam Horn is 8-5, but I'm telling you that's a reasonable place to start your expectations and hopes for this season. Like a first-year starting quarterback in a major conference on a team that has a good roster, but probably not one that anybody is saying is, an elite top 10 roster in college football. 8 wins is a pretty good goal. Missouri has not had a first-year starting quarterback do better than that this entire time, except for 1. And I'm going to make a weird comp for what you should hope Beau Pribula and Sam Horn are, because it's a guy that, frankly, I think gets far too much credit for the quarterback he was. But what do you hope this starter is? You hope it's Matty Mock, because Matty had a little bit of a unique situation. Obviously, in 2013, he started 4 or 5 games for Missouri, kind of like Locke did in 2015. So 2014 was not technically his first year as a starter, but it was the first year he started game 1 and was the starter all season long. Missouri, obviously, that year goes to the SEC championship game, ends up winning double-digit games, capped by the Cotton Bowl against Oklahoma State. So that's what you hope this is. And again, the oddity is, of all those quarterbacks in year 1 as a full-time starter, like I can argue that Matty Mock's quarterback season was maybe at the very bottom of that list as far as individual quarterback play. That was not a great offense. It was a team drugged to that season by one of the best defenses in school history, led obviously by Shane Ray and Marcus Golden. And by the way, when I said Cotton Bowl in against Oklahoma State, that was the year before this year was capped by the Citrus Bowl win against Minnesota. But Shane Ray, Marcus Golden, EJ Gaines was on that team. That was a fantastic defense, ran the football pretty well, but was not a great offensive team. But that's what you're hoping this year is, right? Is a team that has enough around a first-year starting quarterback to reach those heights and to get to 10 wins. And if not an SEC title game, still a college football playoff, which obviously didn't exist in 2014, but Missouri would have been right on the verge of had it existed at that time. So just a little bit of historical context for you. Look, we don't know who's winning the job. We don't know how that person will do at quarterback. Who knows? Maybe you get a Johnny Manziel debut season. That'd be phenomenal, obviously, for Missouri and all of you guys. But just kind of want to throw some things out there. By the way, all 6 of those guys that ended up coming back from year 2, year 1, 6.5 wins. Year 2, they averaged 10. Jumped 3.5 wins in year 2. So what's the real hope? To me, it's Beau Pribula is your starter this year. He's solid, maybe not spectacular. Maybe you do have an 8-4, 8-5, 9-4 type season. But then in year 2 as a starter, maybe that sets you up for, what we're all hoping this year is. Maybe that's next year, because you've got a second-year starting quarterback, and that makes a big difference. So appreciate you guys hanging out. We're going to have a live show tonight. Gerard Hamilton and I are going to do our fantasy draft of the Mizzou roster. We are both going to draft 22 starters, 11 on offense, 11 on defense. We're going to compare the teams, and you guys can tell us which one of us is a genius and which one of us is stupid. So join us on State of the Tigers tonight at 7 p.m. in the a.m. every day this week. Talking to Laird Veach at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Talking to Eli Drinkwitz and team captains tomorrow afternoon. So all kinds of stuff. And like I said, 10 days from game day. Join us over at PowerMizzou.com. Still 50% off the first year of a new VIP annual subscription. So we hope you take advantage of that. We'll talk to you tonight.